Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join me for our dearly departed preview for the Premier League. What round are we on? Round 19? I think now we're all up in the air with the fixtures. Now everybody's played different amounts of games and that continues this week. And we're going to have a look at our fixtures. The four of them that are going ahead for our five dearly departed clubs, the clubs that I have covered on this channel before when looking at the Championship. That is Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Leeds, West Brom and Fulham. We'll have a look at all of their games and we will make a little prediction as we go as well. Let's just say thank you to Coyle, our fan sponsor. Dearly departed, also known as Ben, couldn't bear to lose us, marching on together. You too can get involved in sponsorship and all of that good stuff over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom, where we get some extra content, some perks, and you can really support my ventures here on the channel if you enjoy what we do. There are the fixtures, the dearly departed highlighted with the blue bells to the side. So, the opening two games are dearly departed actually. Wolves versus West Brom in the Black Country derby there. Leeds versus Brighton. Big game. Then we have West Ham Burnley. Then the next dearly departed is Fulham Chelsea. It's Leicester Southampton in the evening on Saturday. Then Aston Villa Everton was due to be on Sunday. That has been postponed. Sheffield United versus Spurs is our last dearly departed game. And we will be doing that one as a watch along 2 p.m. on Sunday. Come and join us from about 1:45. Then, big one there. Look, Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City, Crystal Palace. We'll call that the Steve Coppell derby, shall we? Arsenal versus Newcastle down at the bottom of the page. Not at the bottom of the table. Well, bottom half of the table this season. Right. First of all, we'll mention quickly, just in passing, Villa, who are getting quite behind now, aren't they? Villa Everton postponed because of COVID outbreak. This is an on-running story. Obviously, Villa played the kids literally in the FA Cup, didn't they? Under 19s pretty much against Liverpool. And they're not going to be ready for Sunday against Everton. A significant number, says the BBC, of Villa players and staff remain in isolation. Villa, who already have 3 games in hand on some clubs in the league, are due to play Manchester City on Wednesday. So, obviously, as we are obliged to say, and it's the right thing to say, we hope everybody's okay, obviously. And if they are all okay, we hope that things don't get too chaotic. Look, I know that you look at some league tables towards the end of seasons, particularly lower division ones, and there's 4 games in hand or what have you, because someone's pitch is, just terrible for a month and they can't get games going ahead. But yes, this is the Premier League, and we do have Euros in the summer, so that is the 64,000 million zillion dollar question, isn't it? Are we going to get this done before the Euros? I think we'll get it done. Are we going to get it done in a timely fashion and it's not completely chaotic? Who knows? Our next dearly departed team is obviously Leeds, who you can see there are 12th in the table. They play Brighton. Now, the reason I said this is a big game is because at the moment, Brighton are the team, particularly for our dearly departed, that are separating the bottom 3 and everybody else. Burnley have been on a better run. You can see there, they've moved a couple of points ahead and have got 7 points in those last 5 games. Whereas it's Brighton that are kind of the measuring stick, particularly for the teams below them. And for someone like Leeds, they're a measuring stick to say, right, if you're a mid-table team, can you go and get 3 points against Brighton? And because a lot of people seemingly have, hence why they're 17th in the table. There's obviously the Ben White saga as well that links Leeds and Brighton. If you look at the recent form, it's horrible for Brighton in terms of lack of wins, isn't it? The one thing they have done well, Brighton, and I give them credit for this, is they don't lose bottom table clashes, do they? They've managed, and much to my infuriation at times, they've managed to get away against a West Brom or Sheffield United with and get a point, despite the fact that those teams have been in the games. Fulham as well, they've all ended in draws. So none of those bottom three have managed to beat Brighton. Obviously, Leeds are, probably a couple of levels above that. If you class relegation, battling for relegation, should be in mid-table. Leeds are kind of operating around there. So maybe their standards are set slightly higher and they'll be expecting to win this one, particularly with it being at Elland Road and particularly with Leeds winning, 3-4 that recent run. And there's a start of a sense now that, okay, they're losing to Spurs, Manchester United, Chelsea, okay, West Ham in there as well, but they're beating West Brom, Burnley, Newcastle, Everton as well, who are above them in the table. So there's a sense that the form tells us that Leeds can win this game. Now, the giant elephant in the room is the hopeless performance by Leeds against Crawley in the Cup. Now, obviously, there were changes made in that game, plenty of them as well. But Calvin Phillips did play. I'm not sure how much good that would have done him. Kiko Casilla played, and there are some rumours that he may have to feature again. And, let's just say he didn't play well against Crawley, did he, old Kiko in goal there. I'm not sure on centre halves. I think Leeds are better stocked now. Didn't we see Liam Cooper? I think we have seen him back now. Excuse me, I can't quite remember. But in recent games, Leeds have obviously been without Llorente, Koch and Cooper. And Luke Aylin's been playing centre-back and Pascal Struick's been helping out back there. So hopefully Leeds will start to get a bit stronger at centre-back. Otherwise, you know exactly what Bielsa is likely to do, as in Phillips, Click, Rodrigo, Rafinha, Harrison and Bamford will be the front end of the team, you would think. Interested to see if Leeds do anything in this transfer window. You feel like it'd probably be helpful if they did, just purely because the ascent has been quite steep, hasn't it? From sort of 13th in the Championship to 3rd in the Championship to 1st in the Championship to the middle of the Premier League. If you don't keep recruiting well against a climb like that, then inertia can set in quite quickly, can't it? So it'd be nice to see somebody coming in. Perhaps I don't know. Perhaps a left back. Perhaps an attacking central midfielder. Who knows? We see lots and lots of names linked. Even with my dearly departed hat taken off my head, I'm fairly confident Leeds can win this game. So we're going to predict a Leeds victory in this one. Leeds to beat Brighton. Let's move on. I'm just going to shut the blinds. I'll do that while that's up because I'm looking a bit shiny on the screen. Next up, Fulham versus Chelsea. Now, this game was due to be on Friday night, but, and bear with me on this one, it was due to be Aston Villa versus Tottenham. That game couldn't go ahead because, this is on Wednesday, by the way, 2 days ago. That game couldn't go ahead because of Villa's COVID issues. Fulham and Tottenham had been cancelled previously. That one got rescheduled, which meant that Fulham couldn't play Wednesday and then Friday. So this one has now been moved along. Does that all make sense? So it's a West London derby, Fulham versus Chelsea. I remember Frank Lampard scoring in these for years and years against poor old Fulham. He had a vendetta against them, and now he is obviously managing against them. Now, we did Fulham in the watch-along against Spurs on Wednesday night, and Fulham got themselves a very, very good result. However, Spurs should have won. They did miss a few glaring chances, particularly given the high quality of their strikers. You would have expected more than one. I think the big chance count was something like 7 or something ridiculous, 7-0, and Fulham scoring a brilliant header through Ivan Cavaliero. So great stuff, Fulham. As I always say, play the game state. If the other team are only 1-0 up and they're missing chances, you can't do anything about that, can you? Just go and score up the other end and it's 1-1, and that's exactly what they did. So, Fulham, with that being said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, have only lost 1 in 7. However, the big caveat here is they've picked up only 8 points in that run because they've now drawn 5 games in a row. And yes, this is good for Scott Parker. Yes, they're trending upwards. Yes, he's finding a team. Yes, they are competitive. But just 2 games in there, a draw against Newcastle and a draw against Brighton. I just wish they would won. I'm sure they would take 2 wins in those and defeats in the other drawn games to dent their rivals. And obviously you'd have more points as well, 6 points from the 5 rather than the 5. So it's just about wins now. And Chelsea is going to be tricky, isn't it? Frank Lampard gets all sorts of questions asked of him all of the time, doesn't he? We talked about Leeds' ascent quickly. Lampard's ascent as a manager, obviously an incredible player, has been very fast too. 1 season at Derby, last season at Chelsea under embargo, and now this season money has been spent and Chelsea are in 9th, and rumblings of discontent in recent games there. 1 point in the last 3, only 4 points in the last 6, 4 defeats in the last 6, including, of course, a defeat at Wolves, who have been moving down the table as well. Couldn't beat Villa, also losing to Everton and Manchester City in that last home game. So, does that mean it's a good time to play Chelsea? I don't know. Depends on the mentality of those players. It's very hard for me to see Fulham winning this one. And I dare say, I wonder, has anyone drawn 6 games in a row in the Premier League before? I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments. Could be a 6th straight draw, couldn't it? However, I'm a bit worried that they're going to get the backlash and Chelsea are actually going to play well in this one. With my dearly departed hat on, I'd love to see a draw, and obviously the 6th in a row would be some kind of numerical oddity that my silly brain would like. So with optimism in my mind, let's go for a draw again, a 6th straight draw for Fulham. Very competitive but not winning games. Remember, they have drawn against better sides, i.e. in this run they've drawn against Liverpool, and obviously they've drawn against Tottenham, who are higher than Chelsea in the table, as are Southampton. So if that's a guide, we try and look for patterns and logic. Doesn't always bear out in that way, does it? But there you go. I'll go for a draw. Trying to leave my bias at the door here and not be too pro dearly departed. Next up, Wolves versus West Brom. You can call that the Steve Bull derby, shall we? We just call it the Black Country derby. Now, Wolves are on a slide, aren't they? And they've been a really good side since they've been up in the Premier League under Nuno. This may be the most slippery moment for him. If you look there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defeats in the last 8 games. 1 win in 8, that game we were just talking about, against Chelsea. And of late, unable to beat Brighton in a 6-goal thriller. Okay, they have played Manchester United and Spurs, but look, defeat there against Burnley as well. Okay, there's Liverpool in there, but then there's Villa in there that they lost at home. I don't know, is Nuno's halo slipping slightly. We always say this on the channel about pragmatic type managers, and Nuno, I'm not calling Nuno a sit behind the ball and defend, because it's not that basic, but it is for a long time the three at the back can become a 5-4-1, and the old school European way, when European teams used to come in the 90s and blunt English teams just by doing that and then nicking a goal on the break as the English teams got open, became pretty good at that. Wolves, particularly in the watch along I did in the game against Leeds, where that was the exact plan. I suppose the good news for Wolves is that West Brom aren't very good, and their results aren't very good either, and particularly those home results under Big Sam, hopeless. Look at that, 3 defeats, 3-0, 4-0 and 5-0. Excuse me, one of them was... Oh no, they were all home games, yeah. I was right. 3 home defeats for Big Sam and 12 goals conceded, and then an away draw against Liverpool. So this could be very, very attritional. I suspect Sam will have done a bit more dealings in between now and then. You can see 8 points, 19th in the table there. So anything they do isn't going to move them anywhere in the table in terms of upwards. Of course, they could go the other way, couldn't they, if results go against them? Unlikely, being as we're about to talk about Sheffield United Spurs. But Snodgrass already in at West Brom in the window, and I suspect Allardyce, it'll be 4, 5, 6 players I reckon will come in. He'll use what he knows in terms of personnel and in terms of the philosophy, and we'll see. Can he get a draw here? I'm not sure he can. I foresee a narrow defeat here. Maybe a 1-0 here for Wolves. I don't see any points for West Brom. Let me know what you think down there in the comments. Our last one, Sheffield United versus Spurs, and hallelujah, praise the Lord, Sheffield United finally won a game last time out against Newcastle. We did it on the watch along, which means I've seen both of these teams last 90 minutes. Was it a sustainable victory? Well, you could argue it was, because in the main the territory and possession was with the Blades, but it has been in a lot of games and they've gone under by 1 goal. So, and then when you throw in, well, there's a red card for Ryan Fraser, and then, you know, the penalty, well, you know, sometimes you don't get them, sometimes you do. Hey, maybe this season you do, and particularly with VAR, maybe you do. But it's hard for me to call it a sustainable performance. But it's 2 wins on the bounce. So if confidence means anything in football, which we think it does, maybe some confidence, but maybe also some trepidation. Spurs, we saw, as I said, let me try and put that back up, in 6th position there, but only 1 win in the last 5 for Spurs. That came against Leeds, one of our dearly departed, in a home game there. They should have beaten Fulham. They are, at their best, Spurs, they are beautifully efficient, as in strong, stable, sturdy team shape. Very, very efficient at moving the ball quickly on transition, into narrow positions or wide positions, getting Kane and Son in really good positions, and Dombele, Moira, 2 good fullbacks, Aurier and Reguilon, and hitting things early and efficiently and getting those goals, and that's been how it's worked. Obviously, it helps having 2, not 1 but 2 world-class attacking players in the lineup as well. So we know there's no conversation if Spurs play the game plan right and Kane and Son play well. And you have to say, Kane and Son, even though Kane scored, Kane and Son didn't play well the other night, because we've seen games this season where, with equivalent chances, there's 4 goals between them, and on another day, There could have been 4 goals there, and a couple of chances for Son in the first half, hit the post in the second half. Kane scored, but also had a couple of other chances as well, and Højbjerg had a big chance. So it is hard to see Sheffield United getting anything if Spurs do play well. And remember, Chris Wilder's system has been predicated on overloads and committing players forward, particularly wing backs, centre backs, and advancing up a side of the pitch and leaving maybe just an Egan back against sort of one striker. So I'm concerned about this one, I have to say. I would love nothing more than Sheffield United to now go on a run and get points. The cautionary tale, I would say, is that my team Ipswich were relegated in 18-19. Of course, I'm not comparing the quality of this Sheffield United team and that Ipswich team, but I'm just saying, when you do get in that losing rut and you do get a win, it can then be that you then do wait another 5 or 6 games for the next one, and that could be the issue here, because I know the fixtures are hard for Sheffield United. So annoyingly, I'm going to go for a Spurs victory here. Look, we always raise the question of, can they get out of it? Well, they can get out of it, can't they? What it would take now, and I had a look at Sheffield United's fixtures, is for the Blades to, yes, when they do come up against teams that are in the bottom half, they just have to beat all of them. I know that sounds stating the bleeding obvious, but they can, lose to Manchester United or Spurs or Liverpool or Manchester City. Fine, whatever. But if they pick up the 3-pointers consistently now for the rest of the season against the bottom half teams, they will obviously get out of it. But it's the likelihood of that happening. What I'm saying is, it's not the end of the world if they do lose this, if when they come up against a Burnley or a Brighton, they beat both of them, and the 6 points go on, and you take the 0 onto the opponent as well. So that said, all my rambling aside, I think Spurs are going to win this one. I think probably win it 1-0 in typical Mourinho Spursy fashion. So that's what Spursy means now, doesn't it? Although still a few teams ahead of them in terms of actually the big prizes by the end of the season. Right, that is the latest Dearly Departed preview show. Thank you again to Jay. Dearly Departed, also known as Ben, couldn't bear to lose us. Please do go and support over on Patreon. We do think we have somewhat of a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of the world opening up, but be another 3 months, it could be another 6 months. We could be the end of the year. You don't know. So I really, really appreciate all the people on Patreon, because it's my only income at the moment is sitting here at home, locked down, making these videos, watching the football. So it's given me an opportunity, and the people who have subscribed on Patreon are really helping me with that opportunity. Big style. You get extra Q&As, and how long have I talked for? 23 minutes on this one. This will be abridged now in the quick Patreon exclusive to a 3 or 4 minute video. So go and get involved over on Patreon if you are that way inclined. In terms of Dearly Departed coverage over the weekend, as I crane my neck to look, we will be doing the watch along of Sheffield United Spurs, and then that'll be on Sunday at 2, and then the full review will be on Monday lunchtime. So check that out if you're a fan of these videos. Obviously, my other stuff is Championship based, but we do still get comments pop up. Oh, I'm a Leeds fan, I'm a West Brom fan, I'm a Fulham fan, just commenting on this Championship thing. Some of them even say, Ben, you know what? We missed the Championship. It was fun winning every week down there, wasn't it? So you know how it is. And with all of that being said, it's a great big thank you for watching, and I'll see you, if you're in Dearly Departed mode, for the watch along, Sheffield United and Spurs. But you can catch up with me before then We'll be doing the Saturday Super Stream covering the Championship. And Swansea versus Barnsley on Saturday night as well. Thank you everybody for watching. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.